Coming up, we have an exclusive interview on the Hawkeye Marching Band harassment allegations. And later, the United Nations Climate Action Summit is underway and protesting has hit the streets of Iowa City.
We have big news coming out of the Iowa basketball program. Stay tuned for more.
Fall weather is headed your way. I'll tell you more in a few minutes.
All that and more coming up on this Monday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere, DITV starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Abby Napolis. We have another update on the Hawkeye Marching Band abuse allegations. DITV Assistant Sports Director John Rawson sat down with Iowa band member Nathan Topping to get a first-hand account of what happened over the weekend.
And at one of the points, we are directly in front of the visitor side. But if you're looking on like Google Maps, for example, it's like S6, S7 if you're looking at like specific lots. Anyway, we're going through the tailgating section, and then there's, if you don't know, there's a section in it where the marching band breaks up and like moves around and stuff like that. And during that break, I went to go jump up, and immediately I was hit with a beer bottle, and a bruise ended up right on my arm for that. And I can share some information about the incidents that I saw and that occurred that aren't currently being reported. And I think it's really important for people to understand what actually happened, and that this just wasn't just a normal fight between schools. This was something more aggressive than normal. What's unique about Iowa State is it's the culmination of the last couple of years, because believe it or not, this is not like the first time that this has been happening. This has been an ongoing issue all across the nation, not just with Iowa as well, of bands reporting violence against them for just simply coming to a game. Just personally, don't accept any rumors that you don't know are 100% true. I stated exactly what I know today and what happened, but beyond that, I'm not going to speculate what happened. I do believe the athletic department will eventually do the right thing in supporting the band, but for the moment, the distrust has grown between athletics and the marching band. It can be repaired over time, but it's just something that we need to work on.
An Ames resident is donating over $1 million to the Stead Family Children's Hospital after making huge waves on social media. Carson King has seen a lot of buzz on Twitter after his sign made it onto College Game Day last weekend. King's sign requested money for beer as a joke, but it quickly went viral, resulting in people across the country sending him money via digital payment app Venmo. King announced that he would rather than keep the money, it should be used for the kids, and pledged to donate all of the money received to the Stead Family Children's Hospital. Both Venmo and Bush responded to his post, agreeing to match the donation to the hospital. As of yesterday, King announced on Twitter that he has received over $1 million in donations. Well, after a long, rainy weekend, temperatures might be changing for Iowa City, so let's toss it over to Mackenzie in the weather studio.
Thanks, Abby. This week, we will finally see those cooler temps we have been waiting for. This morning will be sunny, but with cooler temperatures in the upper 50s. This evening will be warmer with full sun and temperatures in the lower 70s. Tuesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 79 and a low of 65. Wednesday will be partly sunny with cooler temperatures. The high will be 73 and the low is 51. Thursday will be mostly sunny with a high of 73 and a low of 63. Friday, we will start to see scattered storms again with a high of 79 and a low of 67. You may need to bring a coat to class this week. Enjoy the weather, Hawkeyes. Back to you, Abby.
Thank you, Mackenzie. The United Nations Climate Action Summit begins today, demonstrating the prevalence of climate change as an issue. On September 20th, the Iowa City community held a climate strike to demonstrate their own commitment to the issue. DITV reporter Cadell Coakley was on the scene of the protest.
On September 20th, people gathered in the streets to protest for action to combat environmental destruction and climate change in an international climate strike. Activists gathered worldwide from LA and New York to London and Paris, as well as our very own Iowa City.
So we all were like, we have to support our earth because it is dying and we don't want to die in like 11 years. So we came out here to like advocate for protecting our earth.
You'll have to excuse my lack of dress because this was a very spur-of-the-moment thing. They marched from City Hall to here. The protest started out with a moment of silent solidarity with those most affected by climate change so far. The event then continued on to speeches by community members, activists, industry leaders, and Senate candidate Eddie Mauro.
So I have kids, and one day I'll have grandkids, and we need to make sure that we're taking care of and looking out for their best interests. Right now we're not doing that.
He wants to make sure Hawkeyes and future voters know the amplitude of this issue.
So it was young people that have changed all the key pieces in our history, right? Civil rights, women's suffrage, LGBTQ. It's young people today that are going to make the difference on climate change. We need climate action now. The young people are making that happen.
Reporting from the Penncrest, Cadell Coakley, DITV.
Well, the Iowa-Iowa State rivalry continues with volleyball, so let's toss it over to Kim in the sports studio with more.
Thanks, Abby. I've got some other news before we dive right back into volleyball. Over the weekend, Iowa basketball forward Cordell Pemsl was arrested in Iowa City for operating while intoxicated. The Iowa basketball program announced that Pemsl has been indefinitely suspended from all basketball-related activities. Pemsl has played over 60 games in his career, averaging 7.2 points and 4.7 rebounds per game. The University Athletic Department is still gathering some facts from the incident. However, the Iowa Corn Cyhawk series ended this weekend with Hawkeye volleyball falling in 5 sets against the Cyclones. In the first set, Iowa started out making 2 errors, giving the Cyclones an early lead and fell 18-25. With the second set being more about trading points, the Hawks still couldn't grasp the lead and fell to the Cyclones 22-25. Finally, the Hawks rallied and came back in set 3 with Briere Hughes and Amaya Jones each having 4 kills each and Courtney Bazzario adding 3. Iowa took their first set of the match 25-19. Adding flame to the fire, Iowa came back with another win in the 4th set when they opened with a 10-2 lead, and Iowa State had 3 straight attack errors, handing Iowa the win 25-18. The last set of the match was intense as both teams traded points up until the final 5 when Iowa State fought back and took the final set 15-10.
Second set, I was like, oh Lord. That was my honest reaction. But then something cool happened as we go into the locker room. I come in and our captains are just running it. They held it down, and it was just more me of saying this is our rotation that we're in. You know, in the 5th set, it just comes down to executing the easy plays and finding ways to get those 1 or 2 point runs. I think definitely going in with the mindset that we just got to figure some things out with our rhythm. And then take it one game at a time, one match at a time.
Iowa will open their Big Ten play this weekend when they travel to Northwestern and Illinois Friday and Saturday. Friday, Iowa baseball hosted their annual Scout Day, where they invite multiple MLB scouts to come watch the team run drills and play a 5-inning scrimmage. 27 scouts were in attendance and representing almost every MLB team, probably not from the Miami Marlins though. Even though Scout Day is mostly important for the seniors on the team, some freshmen even got some exposure in front of the scouts. Scrimmages like this helps Heller and the rest of the coaching staff lock in their lineups when their season starts in February. Iowa will continue their fall ball season this Friday when they host Indian Hills Community College at Banks. That's all I've got time for in the sports studio today. Come back tomorrow for an in-depth look at soccer's historical season. Abby, back to you.
Thanks, Kim. Last week, President Trump announced the U.S. would end negotiations with the Taliban following the death of a U.S. soldier in Afghanistan. However, presidential candidate and retired 3-star Navy Admiral Joe Sestak wants to bring negotiation back to the table to discuss the return of the U.S. troops from the Middle East. Sestak entered the presidential race late, but recently visited Iowa to discuss his priorities in his foreign affairs over tacos in a bag at Vesta in Coralville. That's all we have for you on this Monday morning edition of DITV News. Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday. If that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on stands now. For DITV News, I'm Abby Napoles. Have a great day, Iowa City.